This is 7 News, the voice of the Central West.
Tonight, sensational allegations made by the member for Clare in Parliament.
There are increasing calls for an inquiry into regional crime.
I'm Daniel Gibson. Later on this news hour, the hunt for an asylum seeker that's on the run, refusing to wear his tracker, and a truce between Hamas and Israel extended to release even more hostages.
7 News begins now.
Good evening. We begin tonight with sensational claims made under parliamentary privilege in Canberra. It involves a suspicious parcel, a fake name, CCTV footage and local political figures.
Under parliamentary privilege, the independent local member, Andrew Gee, has accused the chair of the Clare National Party of sending a suspicious package with insulting messages in it. Ruben Spargo has been following this story since it broke this afternoon. And Ruben, how did the details emerge?
Well, Andrew Gee left the Nationals Party last year over the Voice to Parliament referendum. Just a few hours ago, he stood up in Parliament and explained the package was delivered last week. He believed it was from a fake address. He contacted the AFP, who got the Orange Police involved. Here's what Mr Gee then went on to say.
The CCTV at the post office revealed that the sender of the package is the chair of the Clare Federal Electorate Council of the New South Wales National Party, Janelle Culverson. She is a former Cabonne Shire councillor and, aside from the remaining state MPs, is the most senior National Party member in the region. The package contained empty wine bottles bearing labels carrying an insulting message. When confronted by police over the weekend, she admitted to sending it. I have not spoken to Ms Culverson since January and do not regard her as a friend. This was no joke. I believe that the posting of the package, its contents and the steps taken by Ms Culverson to conceal her identity as the sender were designed to unsettle, create anxiety and fear amongst me and my family, and also intimidate and pressure me into not contesting the seat of Clare at the next election. This is nasty, vicious and spiteful politics. I believe that our communities would be horrified, like I am, that the National Party has sunk to this filthy new low.
We placed a number of phone calls to Ms Culverson this afternoon and left her messages. She has not responded to us so far. We also wanted to question the leader of the Nationals, David Littleproud, but he hasn't responded to our inquiries. Police say no offence has been committed.
Thanks for the update, Ruben. Ruben Spargo reporting there for us tonight.
Locals fighting to bring crime across our region under control are refusing to back down. While offenders are being charged and sentenced, questions are tonight being asked if this is actually enough.
It was a ferocious blaze deliberately lit, which left a school to burn and crumble, amounting to millions of dollars in damages. Tonight, nearly 1 year on, final demolitions are preparing to get underway, while School Infrastructure New South Wales plans a replacement administration and library building. But one thing has been decided: the fate of one child responsible for this destruction, who we cannot identify.
This is concerning. I mean, here we are with young kids that are walking our streets. They're causing incredible harm in our local communities.
They have been found guilty of destroying property using fire, possessing a prohibited drug and aggravated break and enter. The child was sentenced to be detained for 2 years with a non-parole period of 2 months. This one incident highlighting issues across the region. Cars smashed and stolen, homes and businesses broken into.
It's alarming, you know. In the region we deserve to be safe as well.
Kevin Beattie, a former police officer and chair of the Central New South Wales Joint Organisation, says our front line needs a boost, but he believes it's not the silver bullet.
The court system needs to back up the community and back up the hard-working police officers when these offenders are going before the courts, and they need to be appropriately sentenced for the crimes they commit.
A complex challenge as calls for a parliamentary inquiry to determine the best way forward fall on deaf ears.
Having all sides of politics coming together to be able to address the core issue here, and this is about saving our young kids.
And stopping needless destruction. The state's Attorney General has been contacted for comment. Ruben Spargo, 7 News.
The son of Michael McCormack, the member for Riverina, has been charged with an alleged assault at the weekend. 26-year-old Nicholas James McCormack is a New South Wales police officer and the youngest son of the former Deputy PM. The charges relate to 4 counts of common assault, one of them involving domestic violence. Nicholas McCormack was arrested at around 1 a.m. on Saturday after police responded to reports of an assault along William Street in Darlinghurst. He was granted conditional bail and will reappear in Downing Local Court on December 13. The police force is reviewing his employment.
Financial support is now available for the natural disaster declared for the Walgett Council area. It comes after being devastated by a bushfire earlier this month. More than 20,000 hectares of land was scorched by the Hudson Fire, destroying buildings, farmland and mining equipment. The state's Rural Fire Assistance Authority says after the natural disaster declaration, there are now thousands of dollars worth of loans and subsidies available for affected landowners and business owners.
How do you feel sharing the highway with an autonomous vehicle able to stop, turn and indicate at the hands of new technology? Well, that was successfully put to the test in lengthy trials around Dubbo, but it didn't come without its fair share of obstacles.
A vehicle with a mind of its own, where its driver becomes a passenger. This is an everyday Ford Ranger transformed into what the future could look like.
Could we actually retrofit a vehicle to be an automated vehicle? And yes, we learned that we can do that.
For months, the vehicle has been trialled and tested in live traffic situations, travelling along a pre-mapped route from Dubbo's CBD to the airport and zoo. With computer systems on board, it uses drive-by-wire technology, LiDAR, radars and cameras, each collecting data to understand the environment it's in, allowing it to stop for pedestrians or animals.
It's put on its blinker, it's looking behind us, there's no car coming.
The Dubbo Smart Ute project now wrapped up. 7 News can reveal the technology was stretched at higher speeds. It encountered challenges around software, debugging, as well as adapting to varying weather and road surface conditions. Transport for New South Wales say the trial has provided value for money learnings about current limitations.
We wanted to learn how this technology would perform in existing vehicles and could we increase the safety capability of existing vehicles on a road with automation? And the answer was yes.
While automated emergency braking and lane keep assistance is already being rolled out to new cars on the market, the project did highlight a lack of automated technology expertise here in Australia compared to overseas.
From software to cybersecurity, all the way down to safety engineering is really important for us, and we know that we need to develop that through TAFE, through our STEM programs at school.
And could the vehicles be on our roads anytime soon?
We're probably still a ways off of that, but we're working to really address the safety and how it impacts our communities.
Hamish Southwell, 7 News.
The first of 2 community engagement sessions on a waste renewable energy project planned for Narromine is set to get underway tonight. Asia Pacific Waste Solutions are proposing a major facility 10 minutes out of town, which could lead to a $1.8 billion investment. As part of plans, rubbish could be transported along the inland rail line, which would be treated at the processing plant. The development is slated to power hundreds of homes while also diverting waste from landfill.
The state government has made it easier for rural firefighters to protect our communities. The RFS will no longer need to seek permission from Transport for New South Wales to close roads in an emergency. Instead, they will only need to notify the department in an effort to reduce complicating factors during urgent times. The change comes as the state enters what is expected to be the most challenging bushfire season in years.
Well, Kirsty is here now for a look at how today's weather shaped up. And Kirsty, it's been quite humid out there. We've also seen some storms about.
Yes, that's right, Nick and Maddie. Hello to you both and good evening, everyone. Certainly a very muggy morning following those warm overnight temperatures and moist winds. Rainfall in the west yesterday, late yesterday, 7 millimetres fell in 20 minutes in Dubbo at around 6:30. Nyngan picked up 14 millimetres under severe storms. Some heavy bursts of rain again around 4:30 this morning in the west. It wasn't until the early afternoon when we started started to see more severe weather move through with a band of storms. In fact, a severe storm warning was issued around 2 p.m. for parts of the region. 14 millimetres of rain fell at Orange Airport in just 35 minutes. The showers are forecast to remain heavy overnight and during tomorrow. Minor flooding is also possible with a flood watch over many of our local catchments. I'll have a look at that forecast a little later on in the bulletin.
There's a lot to keep our eye on. Thanks for the update, Kirsty. See you in a few minutes.
Still to come in 7 News, Cara helps to reduce the amount of polystyrene that's going into landfill.
And women from rural and regional parts of the state gather for a milestone meeting.
And a little later on this news hour, a gunman on the run and a woman arrested for hindering police after a drive-by shooting. Plus, a detainee that's freed from immigration detention goes missing, and the Middle Eastern truce extended as more Israeli and Palestinian prisoners are released. The full details coming your way, 6:30 tonight. See you then.
Welcome back. Celebrating going strong, women from across New South Wales unite for the 30th anniversary of the Rural Women's Network. Organisers say women building strong relationships through networking is the backbone of rural and regional towns.
30 years ago, Marg Carroll and friend Ronnie Hazelton saw the need for rural women across the state to be given an opportunity to unite and forge strong connections.
Yeah, things were tough, dire. And a lot of country towns were suffering as well as the women.
So in 1993, they created the first rural women's networking event to be held in New South Wales.
Got together a great team, did it up at the Orange Ag College. We had 400 and then the Ag College went, stop, enough, we can't fit you in.
Now known as the Rural Women's Gathering, for 3 decades it's travelled the roads to rural and remote parts of the state.
It's a great boost to the economy of a small town. People come, they stay, they spend money in the town.
Back in its birthplace 30 years on, women from all walks of life celebrating, the event still going strong.
And it's really empowering actually to see women in their 80s to women in their 18s here.
Inspirational women took to the stage, sharing their stories and discussing a range of issues affecting them.
They're taking home information to their communities and their family and the volunteer groups they're involved in.
The gathering also gave women the opportunity to make new friends while pushing boundaries.
It's all about, learning something you haven't done before, get outside your comfort zone and meeting other people.
Mariana Sarin, 7 News.
Cara is knuckling down on waste with the recycling efforts ensuring our polystyrene doesn't end up in landfill. A new foam muncher is condensing the material, using it to make everything from railway sleepers to furniture.
Styrofoam goes in, gets melted and turns into hard plastic balls, a material easy to repurpose, but most importantly, a material of a much smaller volume.
Polystyrene, when it goes in, you're taking up airspace in a landfill. And the other disadvantage with polystyrene is it'll break up and it doesn't stay there. So it makes a mess, blows around, makes a mess.
After a successful trial, Cowra Council will be using the foam muncher on an ongoing basis, with residents encouraged to bring their polystyrene to the town's material recycling facility for processing. And each week, more of it is rolling in.
We went from something like 18 bags to 30 bags now, and I think it's just increasing. So a lot of people are finding out about it and we're getting a lot more.
The aim to reintroduce these hard plastic balls into manufacturing.
Foam muncher's been doing trials to try and make railway sleepers out of it in Australia. It can be made back into furniture. They mix it with other polymers and make furniture out of it.
The initiative given the thumbs up by the facility's workers, who regularly see polystyrene mistakenly placed in recycling bins.
It makes it a lot cleaner for us on the line, less work, and it's good that we're actually able to recycle it properly. So now we can, separate it and use it for what it needs to be used for.
Cowra joins Dubbo and Lithgow as the only councils in the Central West offering the service, saying they hope to see the entire region following suit. Charlotte Wallen, 7 News.
Still to come in 7 News, some of the state's best junior triathletes challenge themselves in a super sprint event.
And the New South Wales Under-15 boys indoor hockey final delivers a fast-paced finish.
Welcome back. The Under-15s Indoor Hockey State Championships is now wrapped up in orange. Hockey New England defeated Newcastle to win the boys' state title.
It was a goal fest in the final. New England captain Archie Clark's drag flicking was deadly on penalty corners. He also had the skill to share it around. The state championship final was fast-paced and unpredictable. One thing that became apparent, though, was Archie Clark's ability to finish inside the circle. After a blistering first half, New England led Newcastle 5-0 at half-time. The second half started in similar fashion, New England wasting no time finding the back of the net. Captain Clark had his side humming along nicely in their bid to repeat as state champions. The skipper also showing off some deft touch in the assist department. In the dying minutes of the match, Clark took control and steered his side to victory, casually burying one top bins to put the win on ice.
We went in with a plan to press one of their defenders so we could really get up, put a few goals in them early, because we find if you get an early lead, put you on the good foot, and we scored in about the first 4 minutes, which put us on a good note.
New England defeating Newcastle to be crowned state champions.
It was a pretty good win. Had 8-0. It was pretty good. Short corners were very good, thanks to our flicker, Luke and Archie.
Hockey New England have been dominant from day one of the tournament right through to the final on day 3, winning the state championship for a second year in a row, this year undefeated. In the girls' state championship, Metro South West took out Division 1. Mac Snare, 7 News.
The state's best junior triathletes have hit the course in orange. Swimming, cycling and running were all on the menu at the Super Sprint Championships.
On your mark. Diving headfirst into the New South Wales Super Sprint titles, 120 athletes swam, biked and ran around Orange's Gosling Creek course, battling for series points.
Because we think we host the best event over the series. Ours is double points. And so it's really worth, a great effort, great performance this weekend. Really puts them in great stead to win the overall title.
Round 3 of the Try New South Wales and ACT Pathway Series boasted elite racing.
I would say the toughest part out there was probably my cornering throughout the bike. The swim was pretty good, but in terms of the bike, people were just really quick and carrying a lot of speed throughout the corners.
I was really happy with my race. I'm seeing lots of improvements with my legs over the time. I've been putting a lot of hard work into my run especially, so it's really good to see my times improving.
The Super Sprint finals highlighted the last day of action. Taking out the female race was North Shore's Grace Kells.
I've done orange for 5 years, as I've said, and always, made the B final, been close, but never really quite nabbed the win before, so it's definitely an exciting race.
Winning the male race in a sprint finish was Wollongong's Mitchell Blackburn.
We train for these kind of races all year, so to be able to put it all together in one race and have it all go your way, it's a pretty good feeling.
Triathletes will round out the year with races in Queensland and the ACT. Mac Snare, 7 News.
Forbes dirt bike racing gun Tom Drain has announced he'll officially return to race in the United States. It'll all happen next year, once again teaming up with Estenson Racing. Drain will compete in the American Flat Track Championship, where he'll look to improve on an extremely successful 2023 campaign. Up next in 7 News, Kirsty's back and she's got your all-important local weather forecast. That's next.
Good evening, everyone. A low-pressure trough is triggering widespread showers and thunderstorms, some severe. This system will drift southeast tonight and into tomorrow, with wet weather increasing for eastern parts of New South Wales and into Victoria. A second low-pressure system is likely to develop around the south coast tomorrow morning too, assisted by strong onshore winds. Inland regions expecting some reprieve through the end of the working week before a new trough spills rain into northern New South Wales over the weekend. 6-hour rainfall totals could reach 50 to 150 millimetres over the next few days through central and southeastern pockets of the state. Those heavier totals are likely embedded within isolated thunderstorms. For our region, a severe storm warning has already been in place today for western parts of the Central West slopes and plains for heavy rain, large hail and damaging winds. A flood watch has also been issued for possible minor flooding in many of our local catchments from tomorrow. Now, heavy rain is forecast overnight. It is likely to continue to fall during the early hours of tomorrow morning. At this stage, between about 5 and 20 millimetres is forecast, with the chance of those isolated and localised heavy downpours. Very gusty winds into the late morning as well out of the northwest, up around 30 kilometres an hour. The low 20s at Bathurst, Cowra the mid-20s and 24 on the way for Young. Tracking through to Thursday, there's a chance of some persistent isolated showers, no more than just a few millimetres into Thursday's early morning. A cloudy day around as well, more windy conditions on the forecast, westerly winds up to about 30 kilometres an hour. Thunderstorms still possible, mainly for southern regions. Lithgow expecting 22, following 10 overnight, and Orange, excuse me, a top of 19. As we track towards the end of the working week, it will be drier as we kick off summer and, of course, the start of December. Cobar returning to the high 20s, Dubbo and Gilgandra much of the same. Once again, those breezy winds about. A mostly sunny morning, that's right across the tablelands too, but there still is about a 40% chance of a millimetre of rain into the afternoon. Mudgee 27, Parks the same, and Orange reaching 22. If we look to the next 7 days now, we can see our start of December and first week of December certainly looking much drier, temperatures warming up as well. We are bracing for what could be some very heavy rainfall overnight and tracking through tomorrow as well before we start to see those conditions drying out.
Yeah, wet and windy for the next 24 hours or so.
Yeah, that's right.
Thanks for that, Kirsty. See you later.
And that is your local news for tonight. Thanks for watching. You can catch up on our website or, of course, at 7plus.
Right now, though, Dan has your national news. Have a lovely night. We'll see you again tomorrow night from 6 o'clock. See you then.